Hello and welcome to Nuts and Bolts. Fantastic to have you here. Geez, Thursdays come around quickly, don't they? So this is Team Leader Toolkit's Nuts and Bolts, where we come to you every week with an issue, a problem, a solution, something that you can take away with you and use immediately in the workplace. So hopefully we've got a great session on for you today. In fact, I know we've got a great session on for you today. This is all about courageous conversations. So this is the 7 courageous conversations that you may need to have. Now, I've minimized it down to 7. There are lots and lots of different conversations that you might need to have. And these conversations are the ones that you find confrontational, or you have a bit of anxiety around, or it creates an emotive response. And because of that, a lot of times these conversations are totally avoided. And I see it time and time and time again. So I just want to talk to you about the 7 that you might find that you need to have, and maybe some ideas on how to start those conversations. So the first one I want to talk to you about is performance management. So this is those performance management. You might do it quarterly, you might do it every 6 months, you might, whatever it may be. So this is where you've set goals or objectives at the beginning of the year, and then you're going through the year to determine whether somebody's going to get there or not. Really, really tough to have if somebody is underperforming, or if somebody is only doing the bare minimum, or, all those sorts of things. So it's really, really important for you to have though. So these conversations are somewhat avoided. What you don't want to set goals and objectives at the beginning of the year and then come to the end of the year and it be a shock to people that they haven't achieved them. This needs to be conversations that I've had during the year to say, yes, you're on track, or no, you're not quite on track. What support or resources do you need to get yourself on track? Whatever it may be. Maybe they need extra training. Maybe they need extra resources. Maybe they need someone to help them. Maybe they need a bit of coaching. Whatever it may be. These are conversations that are really, really important to have at a regular time. So come the end of the year, when you're talking about the goals that you set at the beginning of the year, then it's almost like a given. They know what to expect. You don't want any surprises over those times. So that's the first one. The second one, performance feedback. So if somebody is underperforming, if somebody has got the wrong type of behaviors that you're looking for in your area, this is something that you need to nip in the bud early. This can't be carried on. I remember having a conversation with a leader some time ago, and they were having some issues with a certain behavior from one of their team members. And when I talked to her, I said, so have you had a chat to this person? Have you had a sit down, talk to them and make them realize the impact that this behavior is having on other people? And she said, oh, do you know what? He goes on leave in a couple of weeks. So I think I might just leave it till I get back. But you never know. By the time they get back, they might have sorted themselves out. So there was that typical avoidance behavior. If there is an underperformance, or if there is a behavioural issue, you need to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. The sooner you can jump on it and sort of say, hey, Danny, come in, let's have a chat to you. Okay, so we had, you were the leader of project XYZ. There's been some delays, some of them unavoidable, some of them not. These are the expectations that I had. This is where you're meeting those expectations, and this is where you aren't. So we need to work out how to get you to meet those expectations. So it's really, really important to nip those in the bud early, because this person might be struggling for some reason. They might not realize they're behind time. They might not realize their impact of their behavior on others. Or even if they do know the impact, there might be some issues that they need to sort out, whether that's personal issues or relationship issues or whatever it may be. But this is a chance for you to nip it in the bud really, really early and give them the support and coaching that they need to get above the line. So that's important, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, 360-degree feedback. So feedback is a gift, right? I always say this. Feedback is a gift. So like any gift, you can take that gift, you can embrace it, you can take it on, or you can look at that gift and go, you know what, I'm just going to sit it on this shelf for a little while and just have a think about it, because there's certain things I think I can use, but I don't know what to do with the rest. Or you can throw that gift away. It's up to you. But the fact of the matter is, feedback is still a gift. So if someone said to you, hey, will you be part of my 360-degree feedback? This is you giving them a gift. So what I want you to think about is I don't want you to be nice. NICE is an acronym that stands for not interested to care enough. What I want you to do is be honest. So give them the feedback that they deserve. Give them the best gift that they possibly can. Tell them all the things that they're doing right and that's making a difference, and then let them know their opportunities of where they can improve. Really, really important. So make sure you give that gift and it's worthwhile for that person. They get growth out of it. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 4 we're on to. So that was number 3. I don't know. I can't count today. So number 4, positive feedback in general. So there's so many people out there that really struggle with even positive feedback. So they're quite okay giving the negative feedback, but when you do something right or when they do something right, it's just silence. So what I want you to think about is, if somebody has gone above and beyond, if somebody has created a program that's really, really good, if somebody's running a project that's great, if something's happening, you need to take the effort to give that person some positive feedback. Hey, Johnny, when you did A, B, and C, the impact that it had is that we were able to do this quicker, that faster, and save money here, and ultimately get to our goals quicker. So that's on you. Well done. Great job. That's all it needs to be. So some sort of recognition of someone doing a good job is really, really important, and you can't just ignore it. I know we're all busy, but it's really, really important if you want those people to continue to do what they're doing really, really well. So that's number 4. Number 5, coaching for growth. So when I talk about this, I'm talking about your one-on-ones that you have on a regular basis. So we've talked about the performance feedback, which is relative to the goals that you set at the beginning of the year. Your one-to-ones or your one-on-ones are more regular, if you possibly can, depending on the size of your team, and they're more led by your team members in the ideal world. So the ideal world, they would actually set times with you. They would come into you. They would tell you about their wants and desires, their career stream, where they want to go, where they're falling down, how they're feeling. Of course, that's in a mature sort of situation. You might have to get to there. To get to there, you would have your one-on-ones, you would have a really loose agenda to your one-on-ones, and you would be asking lots of curious questions. So you would have that authentic curiosity. So you'd be saying things like, oh, so how's things are going? How things are going with you? What's working really well? What's not working well? What resources do you need? What support would you like? Where do you want to see your career going in the next 2 years? How can we get you there? What coaching do you need? All those sorts of questions are things that you could ask in your one-on-ones with your team members. Because the more you know about them and where they want to go, the more you can make sure you align tasks and duties to them. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. This is where you can get your high-performing team that you're looking for. So don't avoid those one-on-ones because they're really, really important. Don't make them a box-ticking exercise, okay? You can have a one-on-one. It's about a quality conversation. So it doesn't have to be done in your office. You can go be walking to the canteen, having a coffee and say, come on, let's do a bit of a one-on-one here. Whatever it may be, it's a quality conversation. So make sure you don't miss out on those. Okay, number 6, asking for a pay rise. Who's done that? Not very many, let me tell you, especially if you're a woman. There is absolute studies being shown that women do not ask for pay rises half as much as men. In fact, men will go in and they'll ask for it much more often, and they'll be very direct with it. And they'll go in there and they'll say, right, we've got some extra duties that I'm doing now. There's some projects that I've been given. I'm coming to you. I'd like a pay rise. I'd like a 3.7% pay rise. I mean, what can they say? No, right? So I want to encourage you that if you feel like the role that you came into has changed to the point where you need more skills, more knowledge, more training, you're doing more responsibility, all those sorts of things, then you deserve to be recognized for that and, compensated for that. So yes, know that, it might not be possible, but it's worth having the conversation, right? So what you would do, you would prepare for this conversation and you would think about all the things different to when you first started in that role. I'm doing this now. I've got this extra responsibility. I'm now, in charge of that project. I've had this lot of training since then. I've got more qualifications, more skills. Here's some comparisons to other industries close to us of what they're paying. So I'm coming to you asking for a 5% pay rise. You can only have the conversation, right? So this is something not to avoid. Absolutely, get in there. No one is going to, think ill of you for having that conversation. It's fine. Number 7, where you have to say no to somebody. And, we struggle with it, don't we? We're all very, very busy. And somebody might come to you with some sense of urgency saying, oh, I've got to get this done and I haven't got time. Can you do it for me? Well, you know what? That's their sense of urgency, not yours. So you really need to think back and go, okay, well, I've got this, and this on today. Look at your calendar. If you don't have the capacity to take on more, you need to say, do you know what? I'd love to help you, but today is chockers. I'll tell you what I can do. I've got an hour and a half on Thursday if you want to sit down and I can help you then. But today, it's not going to happen for me. It's okay to have those conversations because other people's sense of urgency is not yours. And if they need to time manage their time and resources a little bit better, well then so be it. But you need to start pushing back. What if it's your boss? This is a whole different scenario, right? What if it's your boss? This is the conversation you have. So if the boss has come to you and said, hey, Nancy, can you do this task for me? It needs to be done by close of business today. Your response will be, look, that sounds like a great task. I've got A task, B task, C task to do today. I'm at capacity. So which one of these do you want me to drop if you want me to do that one? Because ultimately you are pushing back. You're saying yes, but you're pushing back, saying I'm at capacity. So which one of these are you going to drop if you want me to do that? So it's about self-preservation. We cannot keep doing more in less time for less money, all those sorts of things. So you need to survive in where you are. So let's go over them really, really quickly. The first courageous conversation is performance management. That's with regards to people's KPIs and goals that you've set at the beginning of the year. And that needs to be done regularly, probably quarterly if you can manage it. Some people do it 6 monthly. See how you go. The second one, performance feedback. So if someone's underperforming or there's some behavioural issues, we need to nip that in the bud really, really quickly and have those conversations early. Number 3, if someone gives you an opportunity to give them 360-degree feedback, take that, give that gift. Don't be nice. Remember, nice is not interested to care enough. We want to be honest. Number 4, positive feedback. Remember to give positive feedback. If you're not very good at it, ask colleagues that are, hey, I want to give my team positive feedback, but I'm not really good at it. Can you tell me what works for you? Find out what you can do. Number 5, one-on-ones, making sure you're having those conversations really regularly as you can with your team. Ideally every 6 weeks, but see how big your team is and where you can fit them in. And this is run by them. So this is you asking them lots of questions. They don't have to set the goals or anything in this stage because you've got the performance management to do that. This is about future focus. What do I want to do? Where do I want my career to go? How can you get the support that you need? What coaching do you need? What extra training do you need? How's things going with you? What's working? What's not working? All those sorts of questions. Number 6, asking for a pay rise. Remember, prepare your conversation, making sure you've got a bit of a business case, and it just has to be sort of like bullet points of what's different and why you should get that compensation. And then walk in there with your head held high. Okay, so, and the last but not least is saying no. So how do we push back? How do we stop other people's sense of urgency impacting us? Okay, so make sure that you have that conversation if you need to. So I hope this helped. They're just 7 courageous conversations that you need to have. Remember, courageous conversations is the biggest avoidance issue that I get with leaders. Leaders just don't want to do it. So don't be like that. Because as soon as you start having those courageous conversations, then things start to get easier. Every courageous conversation you have, the next one's that slightly bit easier and slightly bit easier. Great to reflect on them. What worked really well in that conversation? What would I do differently next time? And then you are just going to grow and grow and grow. So I hope that helped. I hope everybody gets something out of that. If you have an issue, a concern, a worry, a problem, please make sure that you contact us here at ask@teamleadertoolkit.com. We'll throw a video just like this one together and hopefully find you the solution that you're looking for. All right, so without further ado, make sure you have a fantastic rest of the week. Enjoy today, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye for now.